But the timing is crucial for the reasons they're given. Rushing into cuts probably isn't very wise given the state of fragility of the British economy, but there are going to have to be severe economies. And the final point I would make, the banks sorting out the public finances. The final point is that the cuts that are going to have to take place in public spending and the overall approach to economic policy has got to take account of the need for investment. Because unless we get long-term growth, you don't get the revenue in order to deal with the public debt, among other things. You don't get employment growth. So where is the investment going to come from? Well, it's going to come from business, particularly small, medium-sized companies, so their regulatory tax environment's got to be helpful. Government has a role to play in terms of the priorities in the public sector. Things like this building, science. We've terribly neglected science in British education. Lots of people are leaving school, university without basic mathematical literacy. So you're getting a generation of people who can't do further maths, can't do physics, can't do engineering. And that emphasis has just been lost. So in all the cuts that take place in further and higher education, they're already beginning. We're going to have to focus very specifically our resources on that base on which, of course, this building symbolises. The government has a responsibility to make sure we get proper infrastructure. British infrastructure is lousy in general, just comparatively speaking with other countries, whether it's digital or transport or energy storage. I mean, these things are always desperately inadequate in the UK. So how do you do that? Well, it's partly maintaining public investment. There's a great danger in public sector cuts that you cut the investment first in order to keep current spending, which is the wrong way around. So you need to keep the public investment going. Areas like social housing is a good example. But also making sure that there is a proper vehicle for investment in infrastructure. There are hundreds of billions of pounds at the moment sitting in British pension insurance companies, which are currently being channeled into American corporate bonds because they don't have an outlet in the UK. There's nowhere where they can put it, where they get a decent return doing something long-term and useful. So the idea which my colleagues and I are developing of an infrastructure bank is to try to make sure that there is a financial vehicle to enable this to happen and enable infrastructure to proceed. So those are some of the things I would want to address. As I said in the middle of my presentation, I think there are sources of considerable optimism. We have people, a lot of good, educated, positive thinking people. We've got good companies. And there are many elements in the British business environment which are positive, and I would like to think that that's, in all the grim decisions that are going to have to be made in the next few years, we don't lose sight of that positive story. Thank you.